What's up, guys, and welcome back to Wake Up Entertainment. So, Advocate Mngomezulu at the Senzo meyiwa trial made a very big claim, and that claim is that it's Longwe Twala who actually pulled the trigger at the Kumalo house. So, this is a very big claim as it deviates from what the state is saying. And obviously, when you make such a big claim, you must have like solid evidence to support your claim. This is what Mngomezulu said.
Then a firearm was brought to you on the 3rd of November 2014. And that firearm belonged to Chico. It was 7 days or 8 days after the incident happened. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree with that.
And as it has been put on record that Longwe was, being the son of Chico Twala, was also present, was also in the place where the incident took place on the night Senzo was killed. I'm just putting to you that Longwe, it is on record before this honorable court that Longwe was at the crime scene when Senzo was shot. I mean, according to the evidence of the witnesses, Longwe was the first person to leave the house before any shooting took place, according to the state witnesses. Longwe, according to the evidence of the defense, is the one who shot Senzo meyiwa with a 38 special revolver. You won't dispute that.
My lord, if they say Longwe is the one who shot with a 38 special revolver, why do they bring the father's firearm to the lab to be tested? If it's not a 38 special, it's a pistol.
The state witnesses said Longwe was the one who exited the house, which they rebutted the evidence of the witness that I'll call.
So that is Advocate Mngomezulu claiming that it's Longwe Twala who actually pulled the trigger inside the Kumalo house. So in this video, I want to be looking at exactly why Advocate Mngomezulu is making this big claim to say that it's Longwe Twala. Well, the first issue that Mngomezulu has is that there were no cartridges that were left inside the Kumalo house. Because, you know, the state is claiming that the firearm that was used was a pistol and the cartridges were left locked inside that pistol. To Mngomezulu, that does not make any sense at all. So Mngomezulu did his own investigations and figured out that Chico Twala is a .38 special revolver. And after doing some research, Mngomezulu figured out that a .38 special revolver does not leave cartridges. So that was the first signal to Mngomezulu to say that it must be Longwe Twala. And to add on top of that, Mngomezulu is this witness that actually claims that 3 shots were fired inside the Kumalo house, not 2 shots. And the way that Mngomezulu connects these 3 shots is that the first shot hit the floor, the second one hit Longwe Twala's ankle, then the other one, the third one, then went to Senzo. Connecting all of these dots, it really makes sense to Mngomezulu to say that it's Longwe Twala. Because to support the claim that Longwe Twala shot his ankle, the likes of Senzo meyiwa will say that we have evidence on this ankle issue, and we even have like the hospital name where Longwe Twala went to get treatment at. So when you listen to Advocate Mngomezulu, you can actually hear that this guy is adamant about what he is saying, and he is so convinced. You know, when somebody speaks with so much confidence, you can end up believing him. So, but why is it so? Well, the thing that is happening is that Advocate Mngomezulu was representing like one of the accused in this case. So his job is to raise reasonable doubt, and by pointing at Longwe Twala, Advocate Mngomezulu will be giving the court somebody else who was in the house that night, and this gives the court like a plausible alternative to somebody who pulled the trigger. And what Advocate Mngomezulu is aiming for is for the judge to believe, even with the slightest of the possibilities, that it's Longwe. And if he manages to do that, then he has raised a reasonable doubt. But what Advocate Mngomezulu also has like some key points to it. For example, let's look at the inside job theory. If you look at the Kumalo house itself, the crime scene, it actually challenges the robbery theory that is being raised by the state. And if you look at it, very little was stolen, no forced entry was there, the alleged robbers just vanished. So if it wasn't a robbery, who had the motive? And if you look at Longwe Twala, he was like in an alleged volatile emotional state. So Advocate Mngomezulu is using this to argue that it was not a robbery, but actually was a fight, and Longwe Twala was involved in it. And it just doesn't end there. There are so many points to it. If you look, for example, at Longwe Twala's public image at that time and even his past behaviors, he had a history of like substance abuse, multiple theft charges. Even Chico Twala actually confessed about his own son. And that confession by Chico Twala to say that Longwe Twala's son is capable of lying and theft. So it actually gives the defense actually more room. If he is capable of doing that, then what can stop him from pulling the trigger? So by continuing to push this theory, you can see that Advocate Mngomezulu is not only defending his client as a defense advocate, he is shining a light on what may look like a deliberate omission by the state, or maybe even like an omission in which the state was unaware of. So this brings in like a crazy question that I would like to ask, but it's not that crazy. Why are lawyers not arrested for pushing a false narrative in court? So this goes to the heart of how the legal systems work. Lawyers are actually allowed to argue theories, even bold ones. So the issue with the legal system is that a lawyer's job is not to tell the truth. It is just to defend their client's rights. And that includes testing the state's version, poking holes into witness credibilities, presenting alternative scenarios, even though they may seem unlikely. So that is what Advocate Mngomezulu is doing here by challenging the state, presenting alternatives, and in doing all of that, he is defending his client. So Advocate Mngomezulu is allowed to do all of this, but there is a catch. There is a huge catch. For as long as it doesn't fabricate evidence, if it doesn't fabricate evidence, doesn't encourage perjury, that is getting someone to lie under oath, and sticks to within the rules of the court procedure. So he can do all of that, and he is protected by what is called litigation privilege and the constitutional right to a fair trial. So that is it with Advocate Mngomezulu. Tell me what you think, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.